Too loud? Is everybody comfortable? Okay, you just let me know. And before I start, can everybody see the screen? Yes? Okay, we're good to go. Welcome to the Discover Diamonds and Gemstones seminar. My name is Megan. I come all the way from South Africa. Yeah, I'm one of the Princess Insiders on board, and alongside me is Nadine. You've seen her yesterday. She's also from South Africa. And those gentlemen dressed up to the nines are our Effie team, and of course we have production supporting us. Thank you, everybody. Are you all awake this morning? Yes. Now yesterday, if you went to Nadine's show, she did the Shop, Eat and Explore on board and ashore show where she showed you where to shop. And today we're going to speak about how to shop. And of course I think we have some lovely things to look at. And we have a lovely giveaway at the end of the seminar, so do stick around. So, did you know that every year more people shop during their cruise vacation than any other time or place? So the question we ask is, if that's the case, what are you waiting for? Now there are a few reasons why these places are so popular. Number one, our destinations are tax-free and duty-free. Both here on board and ashore from our selected stores, you know that the price that you see is the price you're going to get. Another reason why this is such a big shopping hub is because of volume pricing. Here in this region, we have the power. And why is that? Every single week they expect 5 to 6 cruise ships, yes? So about thousands of people, and then that allows retailers to buy in bulk. When they buy in bulk, it is cheaper, and when they resell it to us, it is at a cheaper price, so better margins for us. Another reason is because of selection. Here in these regions, we get limited editions, exclusive deals, and we have access to gems, diamonds, and items we would not usually find at home. Now, does anybody like history? Just me. Oh, you do too. I'll give you this little fact, right? Before the 1980s, if you wanted to buy a diamond or a gemstone, the best place to do it would be in the Middle East. But from the mid-80s, something changed. All of a sudden, the world became aware, and different hubs, shopping hubs started popping up due to one invention. Can you guess what that invention is? The internet. The internet changed the world, and it changed our spending habits, and retailers followed suit. And due to the tax and duty-free sections of the world, these places became opportune for our retailers. And of course, we followed. Another reason why you should shop for diamonds and gemstones is because it's fun. Where else in the world can you walk into a shop with your flip-flops, your itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny yellow polka dot bikini, sand in your hair, and touch and have access to very expensive items, right? I don't know about you, but if I had to try and do that at home and walked into a jewelry store, I don't wear a bikini, but you get the drill, they would look at me as if I was strange. Your side of the world too? So it's fun. We have relaxed shopping here, less security, and like I said, you are allowed to interact with the pieces in a relaxed environment. And lastly, my favorite, people shop for diamonds and gemstones because they create lifelong memories. Even if it's not a diamond or a gemstone, I want you all to close your eyes. They're all still looking at close your eyes. I want you to think of your favorite piece that you own, whether it's a diamond, it's a beautiful gemstone. Can you remember where you bought it or who gave it to you? I want you to think about what the reason was that you received that item, how that item makes you feel. Okay, open your eyes. You remember all those details, right? Sometimes you can even remember the weather or what dress you're wearing. These pieces carry our memories for us, and every single time we look at them, we are reminded of those wonderful chapters of joy. So, I've told you why we shop, and now I'm going to tell you about our shopping tools that you need. Yesterday you would have seen a wish list, a VIP wish list. You're welcome to utilize that piece of paper. We have it here in the front. That tells Nadine and myself exactly what you're looking for, so we can save you some time. You mark off all the items you're interested in, anything that you hear that has piqued your interest, and you give it to us. And from that, we get to see what exactly you're looking for, and we'll tell you where and how to find it. If you do not wish to utilize our wish list, that is okay, but something that I would advise you come and see us for is our VIP cards. When we receive your wish list, or when you've spoken to us, we will give you VIP cards for what you're looking for. And that tells the retailer that you are with us. And they will be able to give you some discounts and deals that you would not receive without that card. Also, if you're unhappy, if anything happens, we will be in those stores to guide you, to get you to what you want to buy. It helps us negotiate. And of course, it's a VIP card. So you're going to get the VIP treatment. And if you don't get that VIP treatment, you tell us and we'll sort them out for you. So, okay. So, if you would like to locate us, just so that you know, we are always available right after the seminar. We will be at our desk. We are on deck 6 next to guest services. We are the Princess Insider desk, and we will be there from 1 until 1:30 today. So do come and give us a chat. Come and share your pieces and memories so that we can see exactly what sparks your interest, and we are here to assist you. We are absolutely free. Okay? So utilize us. Now, you're of course here to learn a little bit more about diamonds and gemstones. So, everybody knows the 4 C's of diamonds are cut, color, clarity, and carat weight. Raise your hand if you think cut is the most important. Raise your hand. Oh, you think cut is the most important, Amanya? Okay, we have 1 vote for cut. Raise your hand if you think color is the most important. We've got 1 vote for color. Okay. Raise your hand if you think clarity is the most important. 1 vote for clarity. Raise your hand if you think carat weight is the most important. All the ladies, they're like, yes, and you gentlemen, the carat weight. Well, the truth is, it is a combination of all 4 of those things, but depending on what piece you're going to buy, some C's factor more than others. So that is an important thing to consider, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along. Now, number 1 thing, what is a diamond supposed to do? There we go, a diamond is supposed to sparkle. And therefore, it is really important that they cut that rough rock just right. Okay, so the first C we're going to talk about is cut. Cut is extremely important because it maximizes what your diamond can do. Okay? So how it works is you'll have a diamond, a rough piece of rock, and a jewelry cutter will cut into it, and that creates a facet. A facet is that flat piece on a diamond, and that facet acts as a window or a mirror where light can enter through the diamond, bounce around, and exit the diamond, which creates its sparkle. Now, the importance of a cut is that it is cut absolutely perfectly so that that light bounces back through the top so we can see the sparkle. If the diamond is cut too shallow, the light will enter the diamond and it will actually bounce around and head on out the bottom. No one will see your diamond sparkle. If it is too deep, it will enter the diamond, bounce around, and it might bounce off the side. So a perfect cut is paramount to that piece of jewelry. Now, apart from the security in a jewelry store, what is the next thing that a jewelry store tends to spend a lot of money on? There's no wrong answers, we're all learning, right? Anybody want to take a guess? Lighting. A jewelry store will spend thousands of dollars on lighting. And why is that? It is most important that all their pieces are showcased to maximize its sparkle. So when you are heading outside or you are here on board, I want you to I'm going to give you an insider tip. You ready? What I want you to do is, if you're interested in a piece, ask the salesperson if you can see it in natural light, okay? And if it shines and sparkles outside just as much as it sparkles in that wonderful expensive lighting, you know you have yourself a good piece. But here's the thing. If you do that, you can definitely say, if you want to go to our recommended stores, Diamonds International will be there. Okay, you can say, Megan and Nadine told me I'm allowed to put this on and take it out in natural light, but please, ladies and gentlemen, walk slowly. Do not run. Please. Okay. So, usually people get confused. They think cut and shape are the same thing. That is not the case. You do get different shapes when it comes to diamonds, and right now I'm going to focus predominantly on white diamonds. But a cut is how it is cut, and it is cut into different shapes. The most popular shape, of course, that we all know is the round, brilliant shape. So, that is definitely a way that you can make sure that your item is of quality. Some shapes do naturally sparkle more than others, okay? But inevitably, it comes down to how well that rock is cut. Everyone with me? Anybody change their minds about which C is important? Not just yet? Okay. They are all important, and that brings me on to color. Now, color is very interesting. As you can see, it starts from D, which are your colorless white diamonds, all the way down to Z. A little bit of history, why doesn't it start from A? Is it to confuse us? Well, the reason is that prior to the 1940s, diamonds could only be graded as A, B, or C. In the 1940s, the GIA came up with a lovely grading tool that we utilize up to today in internet all around the world, and they scrapped that old idea, and to not confuse everybody, they started with D. So, usually by this time, everybody says, oh my goodness, I'm really interested in that section, but I'm going to tell you why your scope can actually be bigger in a little bit. The first thing I want to say is how color is actually made in a diamond, okay? A diamond is made as a piece of carbon. It's a natural substance under the earth, and that carbon is put under immense heat and pressure over many years, and what that creates is a beautiful diamond. Now, during this process, it does absorb other elements, and in the case of white diamonds, it does absorb nitrogen. Less nitrogen means the diamond is clearer. More nitrogen means that it is less clear. So, you obviously want the best of the best. You're going to walk into the store and you're going to ask the salesperson, can you give me a DEF color diamond? And you may be shocked at the price. Those are almost, I would say, your museum pieces. Okay? But I'm going to encourage you to play around in this region for two reasons. Number one, if I had to put a category G diamond next to a D diamond and I had you look at them next to each other, you'd obviously see the difference. But then I say to you, what if you had to move it a foot apart? Do you think you'd be able to tell the difference? No. If you look left and right, it is not that it's not obvious to our naked eye, okay? So when it comes to pricing, of course, I do encourage you, if you want to get a first categorized diamond, colorless diamond, please, and you have the budget to do so, do that. But if you do not have the budget to do so, be open to playing around the near colorless area. You'll get the same results, you'll get the same compliments, but you'll have a price that suits your budget. Another reason why you should be open to color is because you should take into consideration your setting. If it is a white gold or platinum, okay, your diamond that you're going to put in there does tend to look warmer. And when I say warmer, I mean that it plays towards a yellow version, okay? That's what we say with diamonds, we say it gets warmer. But if you are a yellow gold wearer, your diamond is going to look whiter in comparison. So, when you are thinking of color, if you are somebody that loves yellow gold, I know I do, okay, you have even more wiggle room in your color category. Sound good? Okay. So, as I always say to everybody, there's no such thing as a bad diamond. Some diamonds are just rarer than others. So, that moves on to the next C, which is clarity. Now, clarity is always a little bit tricky. You know why? Because people always think that when you speak about clarity, you're speaking about all the blemishes, all the inclusions and things that could be wrong with your diamond. And that is not the case. These are actually natural pieces of rock, everybody. So they will have inclusions, little blemishes. These are things that make your diamond unique to you. They are the fingerprint of the stone. And when you get to color gemstones, some actually encourage you to purchase a gemstone with those inclusions because it shows that it is real, okay? So also, once again, I'm going to say, be open to it. You can see that it ranges from flawless, internally flawless, very, very slightly included, very slightly included, slightly included, and you get your I1s, 2s, and 3s on the scale. Now, with clarity, the absence of carbon means that the diamond will be clearer, okay? When it's heading towards that region, it means that there's more carbon included. So again, I say to you, shop where you want. If you would like to get a flawless diamond, by all means, do so. But be open, because when you shop in this range, a VS1 and a VS2, it again will not be apparent to the naked eye, okay? If you go to the man in the street, they say it's eye clean, they won't spot it. So you have a little bit of wiggle room in this area. My pro tip is put your money where you can see it. So if you're going to say, hey, that diamond looks just as good in a different category, maybe you have enough budget for the size. Maybe you have enough budget to then play around with the color. Does that make sense? Everybody's very, very quiet and well behaved. Wow, okay. So, as I said, put your money where you see a visible difference, and I've explained that wiggle room in that category over there. Now we go on to carat weight. The larger the diamond, the rarer it is, okay? Now, if I had to give you a blank check, I said, hey, if I may ask, ma'am, what's your name? Nazy. If I said, Nazy, I'm going to give you a blank check. What carat would you like to purchase? Pick a carat. 5? Wow, okay. So what carat would you pick? You take it to the casino? I love it, very honest. He's like, that's where I'm headed. Okay, what would you pick? 10 carat? Wow. Anybody want to take another number? Anybody have any other ideas of a carat? What carat would you pick? A 3? Ah, he's sitting right in the middle. He's playing it safe. Okay. Have you noticed something similar in all your answers? They are all round numbers, right? They are all round numbers. And that doesn't always work in your favor, okay? Because here's how it goes. Most people think that when a raw stone is received by a cutter, they will weigh it first and then design. But the opposite is true. What a cutter does, he'll take that rock, he'll carve into it until it looks absolutely stunning, and then, yeah, you're nodding with me, and then he puts it on the measuring scale, okay? So, if you're going to play with round numbers, they tend to get very expensive because they will have to cut away until it is that round number, because we seem to be obsessed with round figures. And then that value of that diamond, all those extra bits, who pays for it inevitably? Us, yes? So, what I always say is, a point system, carats gone, just to let you know, is if it's 1 carat, 100 points, 2 carats, 200 points. But I always say either buy shy or buy high of a whole carat weight. You won't notice the difference, we won't see the difference. Where will you know where the difference is? In the price, okay? So don't buy a 3 carat diamond, buy a 3.21 carat diamond, okay? Don't buy a 3 carat diamond, buy a 2.87 diamond. Do you see where I'm getting at? Okay, and that will make a difference in the price. If it is a well-cut diamond, and they've done their job, and you've checked it, it is going to look just as good, okay? I always say, a pro tip from me, stay away from round numbers, stay away from halves, quarters, and zeros. Be open to that point something at the end. So, this I cannot stress enough. I'm going to say it once, and you'll hear me say it all the time. Diamonds and gemstones are expensive, right? It's an investment in yourself and your legacy. So when it comes to purchasing these items, make sure you go somewhere credible, reputable, and a recommended store. Do not play around with that, because you want to ensure after spending that money, what you thought you had is actually what you have received. Okay, we've got lovely Effie on board. They are reputable, and if you want to go ashore, we will take you to Diamonds International, but make sure you stick to the map. You go to those areas that we can actually say have good reputations, and you play it safe with those. Okay? Just to give you a bit of a background, Effie is one of the largest jewelry manufacturers in North America. Diamonds International, also one of the largest family owned in the world in terms of diamond dealing. You cannot go wrong, okay? And if you want to ask us any questions, you are welcome to. So, now to the fun bit. And I only learned this about a year ago, I'm going to be honest. I had no idea that, if you go out in the forest, you need a survival kit, right? If you're going to do something that is risky, you need a medical aid kit. I didn't know that there's a Diamonds Essential Kit. This is your starter kit. This is what you say, hey, before you go off into other regions, which you can, hey, every woman should have this if you're a lover of diamonds. And what that consists of is something for your ears, something for your neck, something for your fingers, and something for your wrist. And those are studs, rings, bracelets, and pendants. Little trick, a little pro tip. Why do they say studs? Why is it not any other type of earring? Because studs are known as the little black dress of earrings. You can wear it with casual wear during the day, and it will take you right up into the night. Okay, and it will look good both occasions. Are you all still with me? You're all very quiet, yes? Okay, so when it comes to Diamond Essentials, we can actually play around here with our C's. If it comes to diamond studs, what do you think is the most important C? Raise your hand if you think it's cut. Raise your hand if you think it's color. Raise your hand if you think it's clarity. Raise your hand if you've lost the plot. Okay. When it comes to diamond studs, and I'd say pendants, that's where you really want to look at size. You know why? Because they are very personal pieces of your body. No one goes up to your ears, and excuse me, ma'am, and look right into your ear. Yes? No. And if somebody does that, check on them. Okay. People usually view these parts of your body from a distance, hopefully. So you can play around here. You want your pieces to be bold, but you can maybe sacrifice on a little bit of color, clarity. It's not something they're going to see, obviously. When it comes to rings, which C's do you think are important? All of them. You know why? If somebody went down on one knee and said, Megan, will you marry me? And I got an engagement ring, what do you think all my friends are going to do? Let me see the ring! Yeah? And they look at it from close up. So that's probably where you want your money to go on all those C's. When it comes to your diamond bracelet, what is important? Color. You know why? Because a tennis bracelet has diamonds stacked up next to each other, and your eye will always catch something that is off or different. So it is really important that those colors are lined up exactly and they match. Sound good? Little princess insider tip. If you get a tennis bracelet, usually it needs to be resized. If it is that tennis bracelet is too big, you ask them to take all those extras and they can make a set. Maybe they can make you a pendant or some earrings, and then you have a matching set with that. Everybody with me? I think I want to go and buy my first tennis bracelet tomorrow. Oh. Okay, and if I must mention, we do have a Diamonds International. If you do go out and port, they do have jewelers in-house. So if you go early enough, they can resize or redesign anything and customize anything for you, and you'll have it by the afternoon. If you're really nice to us, you can say, Nadine, Megs, can you bring it back on board for us, and we'll do that for you and deliver it here. Only if you ask nicely, of course. And we can have that back to you by formal night. If you do it at home, of course, there might be a bit of a waiting time. Usually jewelry stores take between 3 weeks, 4 weeks, up to a month. Okay? So, I cannot talk to you about diamonds without introducing you to one that has received so much popularity and recognition for the 21st century. This is one of the new ones. This is our Crown of Light. At the moment, it is the only natural diamond that has over 90 facets. And these facets aren't just placed anywhere. They've spent years and years calculating exactly where those facets should be to get the maximum and optimum sparkle. This cut is a US patented cut at the moment. So at the moment, as it stands, only Diamonds International are allowed to cut it in this way. As you can see, the light enters, it bounces around, and it retracts in a multitude of sparkles. It is absolutely wonderful. If you do want to see it, Nadine does have one. She is wearing it right now. I tried to ask her to give it to me, but she said no. Okay. She can come around. And what it does is, it actually, that diamond that she's got on is less than a carat. And you'd never say so, okay? Now, with technology, we get better at doing things, yes? And we have managed to make lab-grown diamonds. Now, this is always a big argument. Natural versus lab-grown. What a lab-grown diamond essentially is they've managed to mimic that process, okay, but in a shorter time. So instead of waiting years and years and years for your diamond, it can be done in one of two ways. The first one is, like we do naturally, either with high pressure or high temperature, or they use a chemical vapor deposition. These are manufacturing methods. It hasn't been treated, but you do get lab-grown versus natural diamonds. So when you purchase your diamond, if it's something that you care about, please ask them, okay? It is based on personal preference. Lab-grown does tend to be more economical, and natural, of course, because it's taken far longer, tends to be more pricey. But if you are somebody that doesn't care about whether it comes from a lab or it comes from a natural source, it opens up more pieces to you. Lab-grown diamonds are physically the same as natural diamonds. Chemical composition is the same, and optically, they look the same too, okay? They do have slightly different certifications, but in essence, it is very much a diamond. They could even argue, and I love this analogy, many, many moons ago, before we had refrigerators, before we had freezers, what did you have to do to get your ice? You had to walk to Greenland or Antarctica and grab a piece of ice. Now we have refrigerators, freezers, and so we can create our own ice. Same goes for natural versus lab-grown diamonds. One would argue, well, if we can do it, why don't we just get one from our refrigerator versus going all the way to Antarctica to fetch our ice, okay? Of course, if you are a traditionalist or you love the idea of it being formed in nature, then a natural diamond would appeal to you. And a brand that I just want to introduce, a lovely brand that you can use, you've heard about the Crown of Light. If you are interested in laboratory-grown diamonds, Reverie is a good brand. I do believe that they are available on board. Now, we've spoken about diamonds. Is everybody feeling fully educated? You can go and shop for diamonds tomorrow. Yes, okay. So, apart from diamonds, okay, we do have colored diamonds, and colored diamonds are actually rarer than white diamonds. Hello. Okay, white diamonds are colorless, and of course, the more colorless it is, the more expensive it gets. But when it comes to colored diamonds, we actually look for color. The more color that is in those diamonds, the more expensive they get. So, I hope I haven't broken this, otherwise production is not going to be happy. Fired. Megan is fired. Thank you. I had a very nice day on my job. Okay, so we're going to talk about yellow diamonds, okay? And once diamond colors exceed Z, it gets warmer than Z, it enters the fancy scale. And fancy, as the name suggests, is really fancy because that is where you get your colored diamonds. They belong to a whole new category, and you can go from fancy light, fancy, fancy deep, and fancy vivid. Yellow diamonds, also popularly called canary diamonds, are yellow in color because they have traces, tiny traces of nitrogen in the crystal structure. That impurity creates that lovely sunshine glow. And the lovely thing about yellow diamonds is because of that warm glow, it actually appears larger than it is. Effie on board does have a lovely set of Canary Diamonds, a collection. So if you are interested, please go and check it out. Okay, and you can also go Diamonds International, as I've mentioned before, is another reputable source for that. Blue diamonds are so rare that most people will never see a natural blue diamond. They are blue because of the traces of boron in it, and people tend to buy them. They're very popular. You know why? Because they resemble the beautiful deep ocean. Okay, so that is another diamond that you can get, and the blue diamonds can also, they have a lovely collection here on board. Now we're going into brown diamonds, also known as cognac diamonds, champagne diamonds, chocolate diamonds, and again, they go from light browns all the way to dark and golden browns, and they've become quite popular now in recent years. They are this color because of the heat and structural defects, and this does make them slightly more affordable. They are also more durable as a diamond. So if you're a rough and tumble kind of person, you want to sort of look into some durable stones. Now, just before I say that, I did want to say we have, I don't see the slide up here, but a brand I would like to promote for this because they are just exceptional when it comes to chocolate diamonds is the brand Levian. They have been around since the 1700s, arguably the longest standing jewelry brand. And they are actually one of the trendsetters when it comes to color diamonds and the like, okay? Very old, rooted Persian history. Now, we've spoken about all the diamonds, but I'm going to ask you, we're going to move on to gemstones. Who has heard of tanzanite? Who owns a piece of tanzanite? Congratulations. Congratulations, Namanya. Congratulations, sir. Tanzanite is an extraordinary gemstone, okay? It is very beautiful, but before we talk about beauty, I'm going to say exactly why it is sought after. Tanzanite is known as a generational gemstone. It is only mined in one piece, one section of the world, and that is Tanzania. There's a mine at the bottom of Mount Kilimanjaro, and the reason why it is known as a generational gemstone is because it has been mined, it has become popular, and it will be depleted in one generation. And I'm sure, sir, when did you buy your tanzanite? A few years ago. Oh, and the what princess? Regal Princess. Now, if we had to talk about how much that tanzanite was then, how much do you think you'd pay for it now? Far more, right? The price, he hasn't reached it. That's okay. The price has gone up. As these sources deplete, the price goes up. So if you would like to get a tanzanite, I would say this is something to get sooner rather than later. This is the mine, just to give you an indication, okay? It's divided into sections B, C, and D. If you can imagine, I think they're around about, these have been depleted, they're working in one of the zones, are only available, okay? Now, when it comes to tanzanite, it is very important, not all tanzanites are the same. It is very important to look at the quality. Make sure you get it at a reputable source. Make sure the tanzanite is of its highest quality. In this case, it has its own set of C's, but if I had to look at it, I would say try and get as deeper in color as you can when it comes to price point, as much as your budget allows, okay? Now, with tanzanite, we of course want to talk about, and of course, a little fun fact if you love your facts, Smithsonian Museum of Natural History actually has a tanzanite 123 carats, okay? Gemstones must be 5 carats and larger to have that deep, fine color. So once again, I say it is very important. They are 100 times rarer than diamonds, and therefore their price does increase. Now, another thing I just want to mention about tanzanite is why it is sought after. Yes, it is sought after because it's about to deplete, but also because it showcases 3 colors. Okay, apart from that color, you can enjoy in its sparkle burgundies, pinks, fuchsias, violets, okay? It makes it a very enticing gemstone. like I said, buy now. Start your family heirloom, okay? And the two places I would recommend is Nala Siri, Tanzanite. I will talk to you about that. Or Safi Kalima Tanzanite, okay? Both are reputable brands. Nala with her softer, elegant blue and violet glow, and Safi Kalima with its deeper, vibrant colors. And therefore, it also comes down to what you prefer. Now, okay, that's just a little bit more about Tanzanite, but you've seen it, and you can see it ashore and aboard, so I'm just going to scroll through those. Let's talk about your other gemstone essentials. They are the big three. Anybody want to guess what this is? Ruby, 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 ruby. Yeah. And what is this one? Emerald. And what is this one? A sapphire. Okay? These are the big three. If you were a kid at school in the playground, these guys would be the guys that come to you when you're on your lunch break and say, hey, what's up? They have long-standing history. They have been revered around the world for centuries and centuries. Starting with our rubies. Now, the redder the ruby, the better the ruby, the lighter the ruby, the more affordable the ruby. But no rubies are bad, just more rare than others. And the most red that you can get is a beautiful pigeon blood red. So if you're looking specifically for color, that is one to look out for. Now, the signature red in ruby is due to the presence of chromium in those gemstones. Okay, they are extremely, extremely durable. In fact, jewelry designers often use them at weak sections of their jewelry design to actually keep the piece together. So again, if you're a rough and tumble person, this is a stone that you can play with. But what I love about rubies and what I love about all of these gemstones are its history. Rubies have a long-standing history and were known as a signature of strength. Warriors would embed it in their armor, in their helmets and weaponry, okay, before they went to war. And Indian soldiers would embed it in their skin, thinking it would give them victory and immortality. When you're talking about a ruby, if you're gifting it to somebody, it's a signature of strength. Some rubies have a beautiful inner glow under UV light, and that signifies that inner power that that gemstone stands for. Of course, you can speak to Namanya. He will talk to you about rubies. Do you have rubies for us to wear today? He didn't trust you all. You see, somebody started running too quickly.
But we have more than
showcase your rubies, sir. Oh, wow. Okay, that is absolutely stunning. Please come and see this lovely man again. Okay. Moving on, we've got emeralds. Nadine's telling me to speed it up. I'll keep you here for 3 days. Okay, brilliant. Emeralds are beautiful. They have been mined for over 4,000 years. Earlier sources date back to Egypt. Okay, it was Cleopatra's obsession. She crushed it, used it for cosmetic purposes. She also took over all the Egyptian mines back then, and she used it for diplomatic power. An emerald cut. This is one of the diamonds, one of the gemstones I said. Remember, some inclusions are welcome. When it comes to emeralds, you welcome those inclusions, okay? They're a symbol of power, and also they're a little bit more fragile, so they tend to be rectangle, okay? That's a beautiful cut that they send to the shape that they use, just to keep it together and to enhance its color, but it also comes in a variety of other colors, but if you do buy an emerald, look after your emerald. We've got lastly sapphires, the last three of the big C. Now, sapphires actually come in all sorts of colors, almost every color except red, because when it's red, we don't call it a sapphire, we call it a ruby. Exactly. These are a favorite amongst royalty. That is exactly what it symbolizes, and that is its lineage. Okay, it was famously used in royal circles. Princess Diana's engagement ring was a blue sapphire, and Kate Middleton, I believe, is wearing it now. So these are also something that you can get in various colors, and a lovely part that will form a lovely part of your jewelry selections. Okay. Of course, you can combine all of them. They go with all sorts of outfits, and we enjoy the beautiful watercolors collection, and FU showcases that as well. Now, lastly, and thank you so much for being such a great audience thus far, for the collector's eye. Okay, we've spoken about all your diamond and your gemstones essentials. This is purely purely for your collector's eye, okay? And I'd like to talk about alexandrite. This is the gemstone that changes color. It goes from forest green all the way through to lovely deep ruby rich reds and burgundies, depending on the light. Okay? And this stone can change color all the time. How I know that you bought an alexandrite? It's usually the guys doing this. Okay? It has a beautiful history associated with Tsar Alexander, and it goes a long way back. Basically, when they actually mined it, they thought that they were getting an emerald, and when they looked further, they saw that the gemstone changed color. But what makes this highly sought after is that everybody just hold out the palm of your hand. Just look at the palm of your hand. Right? It's not big. That is the amount of alexandrite that is mined annually each year. Just this. The burger or steak you're going to eat tonight is bigger. The soap in your shower is bigger. Your shopping bag is bigger. So you can imagine, if there's only so few, everybody wants one. If you have one, most people will never see it in their lives, fewer people will own it. But if you do, man, just think. One of those alexandrites in the palm of your hand that has been formed many years ago had your name on it. So it is something truly to think about when you are thinking of your collection. Okay, if you want to ask us anything more about that, please do. But I must say this, because I'm running out of time. You get semi-precious stones, you get precious stones. When this rock was found, the GIA actually made a whole new category all the way over here. It is actually categorized as a phenomenal gemstone. It is in its own category. I know, wow. It's my favorite thing to look at when I am around in jewelry stores. Mark Henry is at the heart of alexandrite, okay? They're the guys that mine it. This is the brand I strongly recommend. It is of a higher price range, so please make sure that you go to a reputable source. They've also got lovely moonstone collections and Parabite, tourmaline collections. Each stone that is chosen in Mark Henry does something more than sparkle. They are the guys that say, hey, we want to make this an experience. We want you to interact with your jewelry pieces, and they get that just right. So, I've spoken to you. If you want to come and see us, thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause for sitting so quietly. Oh my goodness. Very good. Thank you very much. I can talk about gemstones and stones for days and days. It's something that you never know everything about. Sometimes I learn from you. Sometimes I learn in jewelry stores. They all have beautiful histories. And please, if you want to share anything, if you want to come and talk to us, Nadine and myself are available after this talk. We will be at our guest house, but don't worry, we'll be there until 1:30. And Effie has a lovely event. Namanya is going to showcase all those pieces that we spoke about today. He's going to take you right to it, and you can take a look. If you are in Port, come and see us. We're also going to take you around Diamonds International. You can look and see all that there is to see and make a choice for yourself. But whatever you do today, have a great time.